Divorce Day Diaries, day 233, and I have to put a trigger warning on today's episode because I'm going to be talking about a cat that is no longer with us. So if that's not your thing, feel free to pass along. Otherwise, welcome. Let's have a chat. So, once upon a time, I lived in this tiny town in the North Island called Bulls, and I had a cat called Pearl. She got very old. She was already old when I acquired her. I love older cats. You know, all they want to do is sleep all day. They make for great cuddle buddies. But after she passed away, I was like, no, I don't want any pets. It's just another mouth to feed, another body to look after. I already have like a whole herd of children. Why do I want to add more responsibilities to that, you know? But the mammal population of bulls had another idea. You see, we have rodents. And I don't say that like I mean I had rats running around the house. As far as I'm aware, we didn't. I mean, nothing got into the pantry. The pantry was fine. The only reason I found out about this thing is because, you see, I had a bedside table where I like to store snacks. You know, it's late night, you're watching a movie, you don't want to have to go all the way out into the kitchen to get a bag of chips, right? So, you know, shove a bag of chips in your bedside table. One day I went to get my bag of chips and something had nibbled a hole in the bottom and had like pulled out some chips and there was some crumbs left behind. And I was like, did I do that? I was a bit unsure, but, you know, I throw the whole bag of chips away. But then it kept happening. And really, I hit my limit when one time I put some Whittaker's chocolate in there, which I'd gotten for like a special occasion, and they had like opened up the bottom of it, and there were like tiny little teeth marks in it. And I was like, nah, you can eat my chips, but you can't eat my chocolate. I tried traps and poison and stuff, but it wasn't working. So I was like, maybe I should just get another cat. But I didn't want to get a kitten. I didn't want another thing that I have to train, another thing I have to toilet train. I wanted another adult cat, but that's kind of difficult because a lot of adult cats at shelters, they carry a lot of trauma, bringing them into a home with like 3 or 4 kids, a couple of them being toddlers. It was just hard, you know, I just didn't really find anything. And then along came Harvey. A family had adopted Harvey, but what they didn't realise until after they adopted them was that one of the children was allergic to cats. So what had happened is they were constantly trying to keep her outside so that the child wouldn't have an allergic reaction, and Harvey would keep sneaking in and finding ways into the house and just hiding in places in the house. Credit to the previous owners, they recognised that Harvey was not happy with that living situation and put her up for adoption, and my first wife found her, and as soon as I brought her home, I said, you'll have the freedom to go wherever you want to go. I'm not going to trap you inside, I'm not going to trap you outside. We lived in Bulls, you know, I had like 3 cars go down the street a day, so it was pretty quiet. And for the most part, she loved being inside. In fact, one of her favourite things to do, when I was playing Xbox, it lets out a lot of hot air, and it would sit in this cabinet and she would sleep right here where the hot air was blowing out. This is one of my favourite pictures of her. And often, if you couldn't find her, the best place to check was the closet. She would sneak in there when I had obviously left the door open, and I'd go and open it, and she would just be like lying in there, sleeping on the towels or on the linen. At dinner time, you'd shake the food packet, you'd hear like some crashing going on, and a thump in the closet, you go and open it up, and she walks out like she's had the best nap of her life. But she always knew when the Xbox turned on that she'd have a nice warm place to sleep. Even if she was known to judge what games I picked sometimes. Now, I did have some concerns when I moved here to Rolleston. It's a small town, yeah, but there's a lot more traffic, and there's tradies rushing around building houses and whatnot. I tried to keep her inside, but Harvey was what I call a protest peer. She was a cat that if she was unhappy with someone, she'd let everyone know by peeing. And I don't mean like spraying or going and hiding in a corner, no, she'd do it like in the middle of the kitchen sort of thing so that everyone would know it was her and that she did it. So she was given the freedom that she wanted. When the divorce happened, I couldn't take her with me. I knew that having a cat was going to make it harder to find a rental, so I moved out without her. And when I moved into this place, I did consider, you know, maybe I would be able to get a cat. I'm going to be staying here long term. Maybe I'll just like build up some trust and some rapport with the landlord first. On Tuesday, Harvey was hit by a car. She was taken to the vet, but her injuries were too severe, and she's been put down. She was found quite far from the house, which was very unlike her. But my first wife is taken on the admin of getting her cremated and getting her a little display box. I said I'll cover half the cost, and then I've taken on the responsibility of telling the children. They've been through this process before. As I mentioned, we've had a cat that's passed away before, but this is so sudden. And I don't sugarcoat it. There's no farm that she's gone to or anything. They know what death is. And so we can talk through it and talk through it together as a family and grieve as a family. Although my oldest daughter did ask what cremation was, it was not a conversation I was prepared to have. And then as soon as I started explaining it, I realised how horrifying it sounds. Like, oh yeah, they just put you in an oven and cook you into your ashes. Oh, I could have been better prepared for that one. And then when walking to school the day after I told them, a black cat approached us on the street and gave us a whole bunch of cuddles. It's like they knew. They knew. So I just wanted to make this video to say rest in peace, Harvey. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side.